Ladies and gentlemen, hello, and welcome to a new series that I am going to be doing at the end of every month. The last 7 days of the month, I will be doing a so-called Friends Week. So, mostly Twitter friends, but it could be in-game friends or whoever. People that I know, that I would call friends, can send in replays. Why is that really quiet? Sorry. There's no engine sounds. Brilliant. Good to know that that is still broken. Yes, so friends can send in their brilliant replays and I will showcase them throughout the week. So we are starting off, of course, we are starting off with the boy Ghosty. He is back. He is in the M60. He is on Sand River and he is facing some tier 9s as well as some tier 10s, of course. The M60 is it's essentially an M48 pattern. It's just got a gigantic tumour of a cupola. And we can see Debes ergo potes, which is Latin for I can, therefore I do, I believe it is. Debes ergo potes. It's something like that. It's been a long time since I did anything Latin based. But yes, Ghosty can, therefore he will. And we all know by now, or you should all know by now, that he is a very good player. And it was actually Ghosty sending me these replays that gave me the idea to do the Friends Week. So if you don't like it, blame Ghosty. If you do like it, it's my brilliant idea. Thank you. Excuse me. Anyway, yes, Ghosty has put in a shell into the T49, who is trying to poke very aggressively, which is interesting given he doesn't have much backup, it would seem. Nothing has been spotted. There's T54, some lightweights. There's an IS-7 there already looking to poke. And it's just the T49 that's getting spotted over here. And you imagine there's a hell of a firing line of TDs along that ridgeline, which Ghosty has just pinged because he saw the Tortoise take 1100 damage. And there is a Quilin in the middle there who manages to kill the allied Tortoise. It's an interesting start, shall we say. Ghosty has only managed the one shot so far, and we are 2.5 minutes in, and his team is down 3 tanks already. Sand River is one of those. It can be a slow burner of a map, which is, I think, why I actually don't mind this map. I quite like it. Especially from this side, I always seem to have pretty decent results. Very unlucky from Ghosty there to not manage to go through the Quilin. He went for the tracks at the side, instead goes to the lower plate there, and obviously will pen it. The APCR is 268 mil of average pen with 390 average damage. Now, if Ghosty were to switch to heat, it is 350 millimeters of penetration, which is actually very tasty. And he is now managing to put in the work of the DPM of the M60 and manages to take out the 121, who was overly aggressive in poking, partly due to the fact that he doesn't have much in the way of gun depression, you would imagine. Ghosty pulls back. I imagine that TVP is still sitting there. That looked like that hit. Very good shooting from Ghosty. The TVP actually ended up being out of render range. It's not that he got unspotted there. He was literally on the edge of Ghosty's render. And he's in a decent defensive position for things like that to happen. The enemy IS-7 has decided to press W. He must have watched Ioxin recently. And he is aggressively pushing the corner. And Ghosty's team is getting penned into this side of the map. There's only the E3 over here, the Type 61 and the grill that are anywhere near the ally base. Everyone else is over on this side of the dry riverbed. And Ghosty has decided to pull back to here, which is a bit of an interesting position. I would maybe go back a touch further, mostly because that VKB is potentially going to be poking up. Ghosty instead's to come further forwards. He's not too interested at the minute of spotting for himself. I would say that is completely understandable and is probably a good idea at this stage. He wants to keep as much health as he can to be able to trade later on if he needs to, especially given there's still a TVP and a Skoda T50 still around, and an MO2, and there are some decent heavy hitting TDs as well, so keeping hold of your HP here I would say is very important, which is why he's playing at the edge of his view range, in between his view range and his render range, which is a very smart idea. Unfortunately, he's not quite able to get shots in some effective places. He got some good shots on the STRV. Now he's pulled in closer to try and get some better shots. He was looking for the T95, but the T95 got picked up by the Type 61, who is somehow still alive. The Type 61 has pulled back to where Ghosty was previously, as Ghosty puts in a lovely tracking shot into the i7, who repairs immediately. He does not like the fact that he just got shot. Pulls back behind the rock. A little bit unlucky with that blinder. It dipped into the rock. I probably would have gone for it as well, because that IS7 is very interested in poking. Oh, very unlucky just to miss the turret of the Emil there. Ghosty's at 3k already. I think that might have hit. 3k that we've seen anyway. I'm pretty sure he got one in, blinder in on the TVP, if not on the Emil there as well. I don't think he did get the Emil actually. 3k at the minute. His team is slowly pulling the game back. It's now 5-7, but they are still 4k HP down. And that IS-7 is going for some very interesting pokes. Ghosty manages to get another tracking shot, but the IS-7 was pulling back and unfortunately slips down, so is still covered by the rock. The ally IS-7 is somehow still alive against the E3, Shipbarn and T30 that are defending the base, as well as the T49, who is still there and will probably have spotted Ghosty's ally T54, so don't be surprised if he dies any second. Ghosty trying to feather a shot at the T49, fires even though the rock was there. Interesting choice, Ghosty. I mean, hey, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, even if you're trying to fire through a rock. He's at almost 3.5k damage, and there are 7 minutes left, so it's not like he has to push anywhere in particular. I would maybe start looking at the fact that there's quite a cluster of tanks towards the bottom right corner. Our phone is ringing. How brilliant. My Marjorie must be on her way home from work. Thankfully my dad can answer it. Anyway, Ghosty is finding a shot on the ML2, who overpokes the hill. Is my dad actually going to answer that? No? Brilliant. Yeah, the i7 and Emma were starting to push. The Skoda is actually still over there, so now you have to wonder if the TVP is there. And if he is, then that Kunze-Panzer could be in the middle all by himself, which could be an interesting push if Ghosty decided to go that option. He's still got a decent amount of health, you can see there, from when he was last spotted. The TVP, interesting choice to try and poke that side. The VZ put a shot towards him, was able to scare him off a bit. And unfortunately, the Grill 15, who was near the base, has been taken out by the enemy Shipbarn, which makes me think that the Shipbarn is over towards like K5, K6. Speaking of, there he is. Ghosty now needs to start being careful as he's moving in, because he did get spotted for shooting the Shipbarn there. However, I think it is potentially a good idea to start moving in here. Beautiful shot into the Skoda, reversed backwards to get the gun suppression to be able to shoot him, The Skoda didn't even fire once, and Ghosty manages to pick him up as the Skoda poked back out for whatever reason. He's up to 4.8k and is on 2 kills now. His team is still 2k damage down, but they are now a kill ahead. And positionally, they are in a lot better of a situation than they were previously. And it's just the TVP over here who is being backed up by the shitbarn, of course. But the TVP is on decently low HP. He's on 480, which is unfortunately a 2-shot for Ghosty. I don't even think that is a max roll. I think it's a little bit too high off the top of my head. I could be wrong. Ghosty manages to put the shot in, and the Type 61, who has done impressively well, just dies to the shitbarn. And Ghosty has loaded the HE, so he rolls 430. The average damage on the HE is 480, as you can see. And he rolls 491 there. He needs to be careful that the Kunterpanzer is moving to the right, but he is taking the right course to kill the shitbarn, who of course wouldn't be reloaded, having killed that Type 61. Who I was going to say was playing well and was moving into good positions like Ghosty was, to put effective fire of the tanks that were attacking that corner. Ghosty now smells blood. A very interesting snap there. I think that was a little bit of server lag, and that Kunterpanzer must have fired at the VZ, but was reversing so slowly. They were probably in the siege mode that the Kunzer has, so it was reversing incredibly slowly there. Ghosty is up to 6.3k, and the team is now closing in on the enemy E3, who is last to go down for the enemy team. He is the last survivor. He's on 500 HP. Can Ghosty get a shot in? He can, but it bounces. The E3 drops into the dip, and Ghosty is trying to ping the invitation to the Emil, who finally... No? It's weird. It says send invitations is suspended. So Ghosty's trying to send an invitation, but it also says that the Emil has tried to invite Ghosty. It might actually be broken, weirdly. There we go, he's pinging it again. But yes, Ghosty does pick up the kill on the E3. Another 200 damage tips him over into 6,595 that we saw. 5 kills, a very tidy game on Sand River. And you would say he did exactly what he needed to over here in defending his base and playing at just the right distance, being well aware of his map and of his view range and render range, and playing within those so that he could put in some effective fire, which he did beautifully, I would say. Now, as a little bonus, since it is the first Friends Week video, we are going to do a double header. So we are going to have another replay from Ghosty, and this is actually back-to-back games. So Ghosty had this game on Sand River, and he told me that the very next one is the one that you're about to see. So I will put in the results of this game, and we will jump into the next one. So I will see you there in a minute. Welcome back to replay number 2 from Ghosty. He is, of course, still in the M60, given it is a back-to-back. And I believe he was trying to get the second mark, as we can see here. He's got mark number 1, and I believe he was trying to get the second mark in this session. And this was the game after the Sand River game. And he is on Muravanka, that's what this is called, yeah. And again, he's got some pretty nice matchmaking. There are more tier 9s this game than there were in the last one, so potentially even better. Any missions he's up to? MT4 for the 260, immobilising people and doing damage and shit. Okay. Yes, Ghosty is of course heading towards the forest. He gets spotted by the EBR, making the spotting run, and Ghosty is deciding to come out wide and is going actually doubling back on himself. That is actually pretty smart, I would say. He got spotted, so now the enemy will think he's going that way. Once he's despotted, he's coming back this side. He's coming to the bushes that the Leo PTA is in, and is hoping that someone on his team will be able to spot any tanks crossing. Normally mediums will come along this top bit, and the heavies take the longer route round, if you look at the map. However, the ally EBR-90 is over there, getting shot at and spotting fuck all. He's taken 600 damage already, and he's only spotted the 257. Ghosty was actually able to find a shot there, but didn't connect, unfortunately. However, is able to see the T57 heavy, but bounces on the troll armor that the T57 heavy's turret has. And Ghosty got spotted. That lets him know that somewhere in this row of trees is the EBR-90 still. And speak of the devil, there he is. And Ghosty puts in a lovely shot into him. And the allies behind him, the Concept 1B and the Emil, are able to put shots in as well. And the T10 takes him out. So it appears Ghosty's team has taken the 7, 8, 9 and 0 lines, and the enemy team is instead counter pushing through the 1, 2, 3 and 4 lines. Ghosty puts a shell towards the 257. It was the side though, so unfortunately it bounces because of the V-shaped hull on the 257. You have to aim the very top part by the sides. It looks like it's spaced armor, but you need to fire at that instead of shooting just below the hull and in between the tracks. Because of that V-shaped hull, you will in fact always bounce. So you need to actually aim carefully for the side of a 257, and Ghosty snapping like that unfortunately wasn't able to. So positionally, Ghosty's team is making one of the biggest mistakes that you can make. They are pushing in. They've taken the forest, right? Oh, I'm gonna have to point this out on the map. They've taken the forest. There's 3 heavies that have come low along the K line, and there are heavies that have pushed into the village. The heavies that have pushed into the village will get absolutely wrecked, either by like the Concept 1B or the STI up on that hill there, or they will get wrecked by people along the 1-2 lines or along K. There's wooded areas through here and bushes that you can use to shoot into the village, as well as spot the tanks that are in like K6, K7, and then the tanks on the hill can crossfire and shoot the tanks that are pushing up along the K line. So that is very much a mistake, and given that the enemy team was spotted, well, there was quite a few of them spotted pushing the 1, 2 and 3 lines, and even the 4 line in the case of the T62A and the 257, there's not enough people coming back. Like the Concept 1B, he has decided to come back. Very smart. The PTA and Skoda, I'd actually like them to be more where that PTA was at the start, sort of like around this bush line here, because you can get decent shots as the enemy pushes through and comes to try and cap. I actually prefer it to this building position here because you have thicker bushes and you can pull back and maneuver around that, whereas this is actually harder to maneuver away from. But Ghosty, realising that the enemy team is going to be pushing towards his base and pushing towards the field, he is trying to get into a position to defend from as well as to spot from. But shot at the 257, a little shake of the camera there. He was quite annoyed by that shot. He would have been lucky if that would hit, if I'm honest. And Ghosty doesn't want to push up too far, which is completely understandable, because if you push up down to here, you will get spotted like that by the T62A. Ghosty, of course, we all know that he knows how to play the game. Spots through the bush, pulls back till he can't see through the bush, and is putting in some very effective fire on this T62A, who just kept pushing. The Concept 1B wasn't pulling back from the bush like Ghosty was, however he was hull down and nothing else could shoot him, especially since there is no arty, so he was pretty safe doing that, and it was smart of Ghosty to pull back as he needed to. Ghosty is sitting in the bush as close to the red line as possible, or purple line in this case. He's pulled back that far to be able to spot through the bushes effectively and get a better line of sight down past the T62A. And he was pointed away so that he could manoeuvre as quickly as he needed to. With the APCR, a little bit unfortunate not to go through the front of the 257 there. Much better shot through the beak of the 257. Gets spotted, of course, and now needs to be careful. He pulled back so that only the I7 would be able to shoot him if the I7 was looking, and then saw that he couldn't be shot at, pulled forwards a little bit, saw the TNH, so he could only be shot by him instead, and puts a beautiful shot into the TNH, and reload just a little bit too slow, puts a shell towards the 257. I don't think that will have penned, but does get spotted for it and doesn't spot the 257 back, because the 257 has a bush right in front of him. Now looking to pick up a shot on the I7, beautiful shot, aimed at the tracks, which should be a pen for the APCR on this gun. Puts in another lovely shot into the TNH as well there, by the way. And it's starting to look even worse, this situation. And Ghosty has loaded the heat, which is completely understandable, facing the front of the Malshan. You can go for basically any of the hull now. 350, I think we said in the first replay, is the average pen for the heat. So you can literally go through the upper plate and the lower plate with it, and you can go through the cheeks of the turret. Now spinning around to try and shoot the Charfuteur, who gets absolutely demolished. There's just 4 tanks left on Ghosty's team, and the enemy team has quite a few left. That is 10, I believe. Ghosty now trying to find shots on the E100. The 1B was unfortunate enough not to be able to pen him. So Ghosty, if I was Ghosty now, I would start going forwards, only because the IS-7 and the Shah are still alive and will have side shots. If you come forwards, you're actually in the dip, so you'll be able to farm this E100, only take shots from him, and then look to move at the 257 and the TNH. Just get away from the horde that is going to come through here. The Shah, not the Shah, sorry, the Concept 1B, still on a KHP. If he pushes in as well, you can clear this E100 in like 5-6 seconds. The PTA still on full health. It would be good if he came as well, but it's not too bad if he stays roughly where he is. And there we go, Ghosty coming forwards, takes a shot from the E100, that was fine. However, the shot from the Charfuteur for 400 is a little bit annoying, and the Concept 1B gets taken out by the TNH. So now it is Ghosty on 793 HP, because the E100 rolled 798, by the way, nice high roll. Unlucky not to find a shot on the VZ there. It instead went into a bit of a hill. Lovely shot in that time though. He's on 5.2k damage now, 2 kills, and he's looking to see if he can find the 704. Very unlucky, so only tracked the 704. The shell dipped a little bit. There's now an STI coming in close to Ghosty, and the TNH is trying to get shots as well. Ghosty still with the APCR, goes for the Cupola. I would have preferred it. Let me go back just a touch. Sorry. There we go, he's tracked the 704. Why are there engine sounds again now? What? If you rewind, the engine sounds come back. What the fuck kind of bug is this? Yeah, sorry. Wow, okay. I would have liked to have seen this shot here, straight into this little bit of... I don't know what to call it. It's not like the collar It's like, you know if you're wearing like a nice shirt, a dress shirt, if you will, and you have the top button undone, then it's not like the collar part would be up here, and then it opens into the little bit of the V, like the V-neck kind of part of it. You know, if he'd have shot into that bit, he would have easily penned with the 268 on the APCR instead of going for the shot on the cupola, which is angled back slightly and a tougher shot. If you look at the size of that, shot in comparison to that shot, higher pen chance and bigger target to hit as well. Yeah, that is the only thing that I would say for this game that Ghosty could do differently. Hopefully he can get at least 2 more shots. He is being closed in by the TNH and the STI as well. And unfortunately he decided to not go for the STI, went for the 704, but the TNH, not the TNH, sorry, the 257 was quick behind, and the STI got a shot in the front as well. So Ghosty's race is done. 5.6k, 2 kills out of the 7 that his team have got, and the PTA is the last left alive. And it doesn't look like he'll last long, because the i7 puts a shell in. 704 for the Ram, only 91, and the PTA fired into the gun mantlet of the 704 for whatever reason, and the STI finishes him off. Bomb Big Chock. What a brilliant name. Picks up the kill, and a little bit unfortunate of a game there from Ghosty. I don't think he played that badly or wrong in any way at all. 5.6k is a very good result, given his team melted that quickly. What was the time? 7 minutes left. 8 minutes in. That is a very good result. His team let him down massively there, I would say. But there we go. Well played, Ghosty. Thank you for the 2 replays. And yes, I hope that you all enjoy Friends Week this week. And that you have especially enjoyed today's double helping of the back-to-back games from Ghosty. Thank you again for sending them, little bro. And I will see you all tomorrow. Goodbye.